On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight, thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blak Smith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Power Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all align, breaking free from everybody. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Ancestral line.
Stay strong on the bridge tonight. We got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough black talk of you. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak Smith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tis the fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain, bound together like a chain. Thorough black talk of you. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak Smith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your Sister K Fighter, Brother Tad, Sister Marcia, and Brother Blak Smith will be joining us shortly, family. We got a lot to discuss. Oh, sugar dugger. We got a lot to discuss. Hope all of y'all had a good week thus far. If you can, do me a favor, hit that like button. And share it if you feel to. Share it if you feel to, but definitely hit that like button. We definitely appreciate that. Shout out to everybody who showed up at the New York Reparations Commission meeting last night. Man, when I tell you it got hot, some people almost ain't make it out. That's what I'm telling y'all. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. Also, Governor Kathy Hochul on Capitol Hill today, taking questions from the firing squad of the Senate regarding New York sanctuary policy. Also, Mayor Ras Baraka out of Newark planning a lawsuit against ICE. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Another senator got locked up today. Y'all keep capping. keep capping and telling people lies that they following the law. I remember distinctly when they started letting these migrants in here, a lot of people in the chat were saying, well, you know, it's the law. It's the law in these cities. These cities and these states are breaking federal law. And one thing I do know well, the lessons that were taught to me by the great attorney of war, Alto Maddox, who right now is going viral on TikTok. But we'll get into all of that. Let me give some shout outs real quick. My brother Tad, you ready? Give me the thumbs up. Brother Tad, the OG Wisdom Podcast in the building, family. Give it up. Gotta unmute, my brother. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Peace, family. Peace. What's going on?
I'm good. I had to actually rush in here. So if I start looking greasy, then y'all tell me. Don't let me sit up here all night and be greasy. Okay?
Yeah, this is about 1,000 degrees outside.
It is. And I had to rush in here. Those of you who know. But anyway, we're going to get into it. I got to give some shout outs real quick, Brother Tad. I spoke to Brother Siraj today. Shout out to our UK brother from another mother.
Yeah.
He will be here at the BK Mackey History Club in September. So y'all want to get ready for that. It's going to be on a Sunday. You want to be in the place because we're dealing with Black men mental health. You know, some of them was crazy yesterday. All right, they needed Brother Siraj yesterday. Them all got their head busted. All right.
And you know what's crazy, sis? That's why I didn't make it to the Schaumburg. Shout out to my brother Mike Salmon and the brother General Steele from Smith & Wesson. They had a joint yesterday. And my brother Marlon Rice, he couldn't make it. He was still out in D.C. But we had a nice little round table meeting, sit down, chit chat. You know, just the brothers. June is Men's Health Month, so we definitely want to take care of our mental health as well as physical. So yeah. And did you make it to the Schaumburg yesterday?
I did. It was fire. I'm trying to tell you, brother.
I saw what she posted this earlier today.
Let me tell you.
Post.
Sister Brooke was hot. Not only Sister Brooke, but those sisters from the Freedmen's Project. Yo, I was trying to keep everybody under wraps. I didn't want nobody to go to jail last night. But baby, when I tell you it was about to get thick and heavy, well, it did get thick and heavy. Dr. Craig Carr almost got his head busted too. But we gonna get into all of that. We're gonna get into all of that. Let me give some shout outs to the family real quick. Sister Donna, Brother Kerwin, Alabama on the check-in. What's good? You know what I need from y'all? My Alabama family. Because I've been doing my own little research. And I told y'all I'm going to be taking some trips down there. Because I might be living there. You know what I mean? So I'll get into that. But I want y'all to let me know where it's popping at in Alabama. Let me know. All right?
About to get her a ranch. Some horses, ranches, and it will make my grandson so happy because that's what he wants. You know, at 6 years old, he wrote his own business plan. That's what's
about his farm, his petting zoo, and he said an aquarium, some kind of aquarium. But anyway, he had mowed out this whole business plan. He talks about it all the time. So now we 2 years because he's 7. So he talk about it all the time, Brother Tad, and he is serious as a heart attack about that. So I told him the last time I was with him that his sixth great grandfather did exactly what he wants to do now.
Wow.
So it's crazy. That's why I tell you, I study your
Shout out
family
to the young
history.
King Pharaoh.
Yes, 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 yes. So
6-time great grandpa coming back.
there you go. There you go. And he was so amazed. Like I'm telling him the story. He looking for more. I'm like, wait a minute, Sean. That's the end of the story. But he's very, very excited about doing that and growing food. So, you know, for a 5-year-old to just come up out of the blue, you know, and it's 2 years later, you know, he's advancing his plans. And so his requirement of me is to take him to various museums, zoos. I'm going to take him to a gecko, a petting ranch, so he can deal with them geckos over there. They don't got to come to my house, you know, things of that nature. So, but I had taken him to the Brooklyn Museum, and they have an exhibit on insects. Now, mind you, he was like 5 or 6 years old. And we're going through the exhibit, and they have, you know, the placards and stuff on the wall. He knew exactly what each beetle was by name. If some of them were deadly, I didn't even know that beetles were deadly, that you had some who were deadly until I read the placard. And I'm like, Pharaoh, you was right. He said, I know, man, I'm telling you. But, you know, to see young people so enthused about their future, making plans for their future is phenomenal. And we got to always, always, always encourage our children to live out their dreams, even if you disagree with it, as long as they ain't hurting nobody and they ain't trying to rob nobody. You know, if you want him to be a lawyer and he wants to be a rancher, let him be a rancher. You know how much money black horsemen's make? Okay, more than doctors. But anyway, we'll move on. Moving on. So, Sister Donna, Brother Kerwin, let me know. Sister Brooke. Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
But we don't got Sister Brooke on tonight.
Sister Brooke got to work. She working right now. You know what I mean? She working right now. So that's why she, you know, we may have to do a special broadcast for her one day. But anyway, go ahead, Tad. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, shout out to you, Sister Brooke.
She plays no games. She plays no games. And, you know, it does me joy to see the fire in her because, you know, you and I came up with a bunch of old heads that hung on to power too long, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, really were dead set on a particular ideology, if you will. But to see elders, because I was standing in the back, but to see elders, you know, blowing her kisses across the room and, you know, giving her kudos, you know, like I said, or we have said on this platform, family, we've been talking about this stuff forever. You know, our families was always on it. You know, just because you see us doing work in the movement, we didn't leave our family history and values. You understand that, don't you? And so I think, well, I know the reason why some people feel a certain way is because they have a cultist mentality, Brother Tad. Yes. And they got to get out of that. They really do, because it's bad. So shout out to our brother Siraj out in the UK. Me and him chopped it up a little bit, and he told me he had a discussion with you about lineage and all that. So kudos to you, Brother Tad.
Yeah, he said, you know what, Brother Tad? Because you know he got his UK accent. Shout out to my brother Siraj.
You know, Brother Tad.
Yeah, you know, Tad is my big brother. He said, you know, Brother Tad, nobody explained it to me like that. I said, yeah, because everybody, I said, when you see these dudes on YouTube, everybody wants views. It's all about the money for them. And granted, it's about money for us, but more than the money for the FBAs, it's about our legacy. It's about our lineage, because people are literally trying to write us out of history right in our face. They literally playing in our face. Like we not the inventors and the creators of this thing of cool. We're the inventors of coolness. In fact, what's our brother name? TL Cross. Shout out to him. If y'all ever get a chance, look him up on Instagram or YouTube. He gave the history of slang coming from a jazz artist. And he says who the guy is, like calling the house the crib and the money bread, and just cool. Like,
Yeah, I showed that video on one of our broadcasts. Tag. I'm
yes.
going to see if I can re-pull it up again. But go ahead.
But we the creators of it all. As we was having the brothers discussion last night, we were talking about how we're the generation that created hip hop and made it flourish. Well, not necessarily created it, but we took the mantle and ran with it. You know what I'm saying? We took that baton and we got busy with it. You know what I'm saying? And we made it an international thing. But here it is. You fast forward to 2025 and people act like we not the creators of so much of what everybody gets to enjoy. And then people step in our house and be disrespectful. That we not gonna do.
Facts, family. I'm telling you, it's going to be a hot summer. Just so you know, the commission meetings will be moving to Brooklyn. It's going to be a hot pull-up summer. So y'all can come talk that foolishness if you want to. See, I was able to keep Sister Brooke and our sisters and family up there a little cool last night. But I'm letting loose. I'm telling you, I'm letting them loose because people are out of pocket. But we're going to continue. We're going to continue. Shout out to K Rush 409. What's good, family? What's good? Rich, nice. Our brother from another mother on the West Coast was happening. Brother Magnetic Peace Tyson, what's good? What's good? What's good? For real, the BK Mackey History Club in effect. Now, I told y'all, Brother Ray, he's going to be hosting Brother Siraj in September. I want to see all my brothers in the place. All my brothers in the place. Now, flyers and all that information going to be coming soon. But y'all want to be there in September at BK Mackey History Club. It's going to be fire. We on, I think, the last stop of his U.S. tour. Brother Siraj's U.S. tour. I think we're the last stop. So you want to be in a place. But if you missed their lecture last night, you can find the replay on the Thorough Black Talk Facebook page. Shout out again to the BK Mackey History Club. Sister Farnessa, piece of reparations, sis. Yes, indeed. I need you to let me know what's popping in Alabama. Let me know what it is. Let me know, sis. Let me know. Sister Aruba 927, peace and blessings to you, Doggy Diamond Mars in the building. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I'm Annette 2 in the Midwest crew. What's good? What's good? What's good? Man. Sister Marcia, you ready? Yes, ma'am. She said yes. Without further ado, Africans on the rise. Very own Sister Marcia up on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
That's right. Boat.
That's right. We run the yard. We run the yard.
Happy Blacktastic Thursday. Hope everyone is having a fabulous day. I look forward to dialoguing with you all. It's a fabulous hot day for hot talk.
Yes, it is hot, sis. I told Tad, I say now, if y'all see me greasy on the screen, y'all let me know because I rushed in here. I ain't turning no AC on or nothing. I only got my little desk fan over here. So it's coming. He coming, sis. He coming. Brother Anunnaki said, where Brother Anunnaki? Is he circling the galaxy? Here you go, straight from the BX to the BK. Our brother from another mother, Anunnaki himself, Brother Blak Smith on the bridge. Was good. Gotta unmute, brother. Unmute. Man,
I said peace and Blacktastic Thursday to my family. Peace.
Peace, bro.
I'm glad to have you with us, brother. Like I
Glad
said,
to be here.
We had a teaching session last night with StreamYard and all of that. Shout out to Dr. Filet. and the MWM crew, they're going to be making some moves. So look out for that. Look out for that. Look out for that. So got to get into it, right into it. So last night in Harlem World, shout out to Harlem World at the Schomburg Research Center, there was a New York State Reparation Commission meeting held there last night. Now, when I got there, my sister Brooke was already there, right? Her and the sisters from U.S. Freedmen Project. They always in the spot, right? Yeah, you see Brooke say, girl, I'm telling you, it was hot. Now, they started lately, this meeting, the one before that was virtual, and the one before that, they started bringing in these guest speakers. I guess to try to sway the position, if you will, but it's not working. It's just making it worse for them. But anyway, yesterday they had as guest speakers Dr. Ray Winbush, they had Dr. Greg Carr, and they also had a research journalist. I forget her name, Sister Brooke, but she did a piece on the African burial ground. A lot of history, but a lot was left the hell out. And one thing I know about people who tell stories, when you do not include the architects, you leave a lot undone in your research. Now, she talked about all of these people who was involved. Then she went over to, I don't know, another country, talk about their burial grounds, and 3 other countries talk about their burial grounds. Whatever. Let me be perfectly clear. The New York burial ground located in Midtown Manhattan or downtown Manhattan, if it wasn't for people like Congressman Gus Savage, Ollie McLean, and others who stopped the work of the construction that was happening down there, wouldn't be no African burial ground. You know, Gus Savage used his power, as Alter says. And, you know, we have politicians today who refuse to use their power for their constituency. In fact, they're using their power, their bodies, their minds, and their speech to fight for people who don't belong here. A bunch of illegals. They going to jail, they getting locked up, they got court cases going, whole bunch of stuff. If it ain't for the illegals, then they doing it for Israel. You had Mayor Eric Adams the other day walking around with a damn yarmulke on, looking retarded. You know, just looking like a mush mouth, whatever. I ain't gonna go there. But anyway, yes, that was her name, Peggy King Jordan. That's her name, the researcher. But anyway, so the meeting is underway. You know, people are, the commission is speaking, and some of the things that they're saying was seriously unsavory. They are trying to change the narrative as the movement for reparations continue to grow. Shout out to Minnesota. They are now in the fro out there in Minnesota, and they got to be careful because they have a lot of continental Africans who live in the state of Minnesota. But anyway, so they were saying things that were very, very disrespectful. Not just them, but some of the speakers, they were trying to, they were trying to change the narrative, trying to make it all inclusive. You know, you had people who was coming up as speakers talking about programs for people in group homes. And I don't give a hoot about none of that. When I hear people come up talking about programs for housing, programs for people in shelters, I don't want to hear none of that. Did you take Israel's money and take care of them? Did you take the Japanese money and take care of them? Because if you didn't, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So then you had a cadre of people who came up and they started giving testimony, and it was extremely disrespectful to Black Americans. Extremely. So, you know, them sisters, they right while they were speaking, they was like, quiet. We don't want to hear that. So the commission accused us of being disruptive, if you will. So then the commission said, well, instead of y'all having 3 minutes to talk, now y'all got 2 minutes to talk because y'all being disruptive. It went from 2 minutes to 1 minute now. So it was ridiculous. All because of people coming in our house and trying to disrespect us, Brother Tad. So they started out with Dr. Craig Carr and his whole Pan-Africanist mantra. They were booing him left, right, and center. You hear me? Then this fool gonna say he want to smoke. Why he say that? Why he say that, Tad?
Did you give it to him?
Almost leaped onto the stage. I had to put my hand on her lap to keep her still. So Brooke said, you want to smoke? God damn it, we gonna give you the smoke. They wasn't letting up on his behind. So I guess when Dr. Ray Wimbush came up, he curtailed some things because he saw what happened before him. But even still, he was saying some things that were unsavory. He too, him and his wife. You gonna they hightailed it out of there. They said what they had to say, hightailed it out. They knew it was getting hot in there. All of a sudden, all these security people and stuff, they start moving in. We ain't had that much security in the auditorium when it started. So somebody I know works there, so she and I had a conversation. She was like, sis, can you please have your crew just don't disrupt them when they speak or whatever? I said, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. But I can't guarantee you that because this is disrespectful. So anyway, they had an intermission period and they give you 5 minutes for intermission. So I went to the restroom. My hand to God and 4 white Jesuses. One of the members of the commission was in the restroom as well. Now I'm in the stall. She is talking with a Caucasian woman who was in a wheelchair or wheelchair bound, if you will. Anyway, the Caucasian woman asked, I call her Mellow Yellow because I saw her commentary before. I don't like that hoe. But anyway, she tells the Caucasian woman, well, because the Caucasian woman said, well, what's all the commotion about? Can you tell me a little bit about that? And she said, well, these foundation Black Americans, they want a check. They looking for a check, but they not getting no check. This is what she said. So when I come out the store, she looked shocked. She thought she and the white woman was in there alone, right? So I came back to the crew, told the crew exactly what she said. Now, in that time, they had cut our time down to 1 minute because I had planned to address it, but I didn't have time to do so. Next meeting, I'm going to address it publicly. And I'm also going to make a formal complaint with New York State based on what I heard in that restroom. So I will be writing up that complaint tomorrow, and then I will address it publicly when they have the next commission meeting, because that's out of line and out of pocket, and that's not her job. Your job is to take the testimony, compile the evidence, take it back to the governor, and leave it as such. You are out of pocket. So then you had another sister who was Jamaican. I think she too was an attorney, I think. But she was talking reckless. So as the commentators, those who were giving testimony, kept identifying themselves as FBA or Foundation Black American, Freedmen, whatever. She reiterated, Africans, and very indignant, if you will, like trying to speak back. So that just infumed them even more in the crowd. So it got even worse. So I know you remember, Brother Tad, when we took the bus back from the Bronx that time, it was 2 sisters who rode with us. They were there last night as well. So one of them spoke and she was livid. I had to go in the bathroom to calm her down because they was ready to tear shit up. It was that bad and that disrespectful. So when my sister Brooke got up there to shoot her spill, which right now is going viral on X and on TikTok. But the thing is, we don't need it to go viral. We need people to get at them emails. Get at them emails. Now, I know it may be confusing because you see the petition and people don't scroll down to the bottom where all you have to do is click a button. It's already written for you. You don't have to write nothing. So anyway, Brother Divine and Sister Brooke is working on an update, possibly to correct that situation to make it more easier for people to see it right away. But like I said, my sister was hot. And we're going to play a clip and we'll come right back and we'll discuss.
If you weren't here and you did not render any services during slavery, you do not qualify for reparations. Nationality and citizenship are loud conversations today. While people are flying, voting, walking, riding into this country in the pursuit of U.S. citizenship, none of these groups share the centuries-long history we have in this land. None of them fought this government and won. None of them are owed a red cent by this nation, but the freedmen are. Freedmen, that's the title this government gave us. Foundational Black Americans, that's the name we chose for ourselves. We are Americans. How dare you fight for others to be called American, yet refuse to acknowledge who we are and call us by our name? We are foundational Black Americans. We were here before the U.S. was formed, before this was even a destination for immigration. We built this nation. This country wasn't a place that people wanted to come to, not at first. Even Europeans didn't want to immigrate here willingly. Many were sent by force, prison, or exile. That was the bargain. They were sent here because this land was not desirable, not until we turned it into something that now the world fights to enter. Call us by our name. We are the freedmen. We are the foundational Black Americans. No disrespect from continent, no disrespect to continental Africa or Africans, but how many of them are dying to come to America and become what we already are? Aren't thousands, no, millions of them fighting for American citizenship right now? So again, call us by our name. The refusal to recognize us by the name we chose is giving white racist Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali energy from skinfolk who clearly aren't kinfolk. In today's climate, we appreciate you for services right.
Sis, you're muted.
Sorry, were y'all able to hear that?
Yes.
She cooked. Definitely, she cooked. And not just her, but others. It was just so disrespectful. And I find that the more and more these meetings are taking place, the more and more information is coming out, the more and more that the commission is challenged, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. The momentum for reparations for us continues to grow. And it pains me so much, Brother Tad, that a lot of olders are so afraid to pivot, stuck with old information. We in 2025. Don't you know more information is being revealed each and every day? You still operating on antiquated information, like Africa's role in the slave trade. Just antiquated stuff. Antiquated. And try to shun it. You know, I mentioned that to Craig Carr last night. Because somebody said, yeah, and we coming for Africa next. Somebody behind us said that. And he chuckled about it. And tried to, in his speech, try to, downplay it, if you will. Hell no, it wasn't a downplay. Hell no. Look at the numbers. That's all you got to do is look at the numbers. Don't ever let nobody try to downplay that crap just because they have a particular hue. Hell no. Hell no. And out there in California, some of them Latinos is darker than black. But they'll tell you, me no black, Bobby, me no black. You know what I'm saying? And doing racist stuff to people out there in California. So Yeah, lines are drawn heavy in the sand. And, my plea, because I did a lot of work, Brother Tad, for a lot of people and a lot of organizations. So if I start calling in favors, hella New York owe me. You understand? From getting people's kids out of jail, from helping people save their homes, to getting their husbands out of jail, to chasing down criminals, pedophiles, and the like. I just have one request. The email link is always, always, always in our description. I never ask y'all for no bread. And for the information that I give y'all on a weekly basis, you can't pay me enough for it. Your pockets ain't long enough for it. But I can ask you this. Click that link and ask everybody in your household to send those emails. That's all I ask. I don't ask y'all for nothing. And a lot of y'all out here owe me. The next time I don't see that email number go up, I'm going to start calling our organizations. Y'all think I'm playing. Because like I said, until you have receipts of your ancestors being sold, you ain't got jack to say. All you operating on is mystery and feeling. That's why so many deter you from researching your own goddamn story, because it hit different. But that's my request. Send those emails. And you ain't got to send jack. All you have to do is click a button. It's already written for you. Everything is in the description. You don't got to do nothing. Now, if you say you riding with us, let me see them numbers go up. Because if they don't go up, I'm calling everybody a liar. And whoever don't like it, I'm outside by myself all the time. Bring it. I will tear you to shreds. I'm confident in my fighting ability, and I'm confident in my pistol ability. Bring it. Because it has to be this way now. As I was mentioning to Brother Sharaj, it has to be this way because for so long, blankets have been put over things. And Gen Xers and the millennials, we ain't playing with y'all asses no more. All them old heads is dying off. So we don't care. They can't protect y'all anymore. So if you're in the United States and you have an organization, group, whatever, you can have your employees in those. Because I know for certain that if checks was handed out today, your black asses will be online. Not even thanking those of us who were on the front line of this, but just with your hands out. So please don't make me start embarrassing people. Please don't make me call out your organizations. And if you don't like it, see me outside. Yep, I'm her. I'm her. But anyway, Sister Marcia, your thoughts on the commentary that Sister Brooke laid out at the meeting last night?
She's exact. There's nothing else to say about it, right? If you are able to tie your family, your lineage to this terrorist act, then you are owed, and you are supposed to be able to be free in saying, I'm owed this, and there is no reason why you would want to deny me. Because at the end of the day, when the Japanese were in the internment camp, they knew how easily to collect the names and give back to those people and whatever institutions they may have created. So that's one thing that, I'm interested in learning more about. And so unfortunately, I was not able to attend the program because my son didn't want to go, and I didn't want to force him and be like the beat up mom, and I didn't want to be on the train late at night. So that's another thing. But at the end of the day, in the beginning of the program, I listened to the live stream. At the beginning of the program, there were these researchers out of John Jay who have created an index, the New York Slavery Record Index, so that you can research. You can do that independent research and find your people. And your people are there. You are old, and there's no question about it. So if they could use an index way back when they gave the Japanese their compensation in, I think they received their money in the 1960s. The internment happened in the 1940s, so it was real quick, and they're still getting, some remnants of that monies or allocations of dollars. So there is no reason why our people are still suffering today, till this day. You have 100+ years under your belt, and you're still not recognizing a group of people who have toiled and struggled on this land to make it what my parents have come to enjoy, what I've come to enjoy. So I absolutely understand the plight. And like one thing that the researcher had said, the guy Neil, whatever his name is, he had said, you also have to look at what Harvard University did, right? And how Harvard University is complicit in this all. So the web is deep, and to get to the source of the web is one of the things. But yeah, on the exterior parts of the web, make it happen. Make it happen. There is no reason why our people should continue to suffer. Yes, it sounds lucrative to get the check to someone like myself or other people who are first generation Americans. It may sound lucrative, but you have your own place to go collect a check from too. Right. So it's about doing that research and going to collect the check from those people. And you shouldn't be afraid, and you shouldn't be envious or jealous that, oh, these people are getting a check, I need a check too. No, we all are owed, but we all need to work for what we are owed. And we should not be like, oh, they're getting it, I want a piece of theirs. No, go get your own and do your own legwork, because where it counts the most. So that's me. But yeah, Sister
That's
Patricia.
my sister. I wanna before I go to Brother Tad and Brother Black, I wanna play this clip from Dr. Craig Carr. So you can see, what he was saying, if you will. Let's see.
Up for testimony. Let's give them a round of applause. I just want to acknowledge, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up, Harlem. Dr. Carr, 1 second, because I do want to acknowledge that we have Shakira Timms in the audience from Governor Hochul's office. So let's give her a round of applause for being here today. We thank you for being here. And I'll go ahead and honor my own cousin, one of my elders, Yvonne McCray. I thank her for being here in the audience today. Thank you. Dr. Carr, we are ready for your presentation. And if you still want to sign up, you can. You can sign up right up at the front, and you can give your name, and we'll prepare for you. We'll have testimony shortly. Dr. Carr, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Chair Hawkins, Vice Chair Jenkins, distinguished members of the commission, including some comrades and elders I've known for a long time, and distinguished assembled community. Forgive me for being so formal. I wrote my remarks when I had the honor of testifying before the California Commission, and also in DC, where that legislation was enacted this spring in March. So that bill actually passed, it's in place. Commission's being formed. They snuck it past the white nationalists in the federal legislature. And so we're gonna get with our brother in Maryland and keep it rolling. So let me just read from the page. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today on one of the most morally urgent and historically significant issues of our time: reparations for African descended people in the state of New York. Let me begin with a core premise. New York is not just a state. Professor John Henry Clark, historian, founding chair of the Department of Black and Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College, no stranger, of course, to the Schomburg, given that that was one of his jegnas, referred to New York City as a multi-ethnic nation. This is also true of the United States, a polity and a federal state containing and composed of many different nations. New York, in its all-inclusive array of global humanity, is a microcosm of the United States and more. It is a preview of a potential America, a multi-ethnic, multinational, multilingual, globally connected polity reflecting the complexity, contradictions, and promise of a truly post-colonial state. What we do here, can influence those possibilities here and elsewhere. With that in mind, what is the concept of and process for repair for those trafficked as part of the originary violence of a pan-European settler project turned racialized state, culturally and socially flexible from its inception, and now on the verge of constitutional, political, and cultural crisis and renegotiation as a result of persistent racial and class equities? New York State is home to a truly global African population. African US descendants of the Great Migrations, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Latinx, Afro-European, Afro-Asian, long-standing, and more recent continental African immigrants, all partially curated in a social structure of racial hierarchy and material exploitation built on stolen labor and life possibilities of the human trafficked and their descendants. New York's largest city is a global African capital in which human aspirations both reinforce and overflow artificially imposed limits of race, gender, and class. It is precisely because of this complexity and refusal to surrender to limiting possibilities that New York must lead, not lag, the reparations conversation. Let us be clear, reparations are not charity. They are investments in a better future shaped by a more inclusive past. They are not simply about what has happened in that past. They are about remaking systems of harm that continue today, rooted in settler colonialism and the centrality of race as a global ordinal classification system essential to extracting profit from the labor of trafficked African people, a convergence of global catastrophes that have shaped the state, the country, and the modern world. New York was not peripheral to this system. It was both engine and beneficiary, from goods, services, and materials produced with stolen labor that fueled entrepreneurial and industrial rise, to financial institutions that underwrote and profited from human trafficking and the exploitative labor regimes it enabled and developed in slavery's wake. The North was central, not neutral. Former Governor David Patterson once said that the New York African Burial Ground was the Ellis Island of African New Yorkers. And thank you, Ms. King George, you and your teams for doing what you all did at the NABG. For years, I've taken students from Howard University's College of Arts and Sciences freshman seminar to the burial ground in a ritual recognizing the central role that Howard played in researching and preserving the site and shrine. We were honored to be the guardians of those ancestral remains for a decade, as many of you know. And every year we would come in the fall to thank New York, to thank you for standing guard over our ancestors. Our students learned that our memory is buried beneath our feet.
Hi, I think you're great and you're speaking beautifully. I can't.
I'm pausing my time.
I'm sorry.
Actually, she's telling him to slow down because she can't sign as fast as he speaks. But that's what she was saying to him, pretty much.
Most recent ancestor, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, we must ask, how do we decolonize modern society? The structures built on African captivity and its afterlives are still with us and shape the daily experiences of every one of us in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our work, in our courts, and perhaps most foundationally, in our minds. Number two, race and lineage are unavoidable, but not sufficient. Deeper concepts of repair need a framework that codifies remedies that recognize and respect the legal lineage status of descendants of the trafficked, while simultaneously recognizing the broader cultural and political harm to African people globally.
This is what they do. This is what I'm talking about. While he's talking about lineage, he tried to grandfather clause other things into it. You have to be careful with these slick talking mother effers. You understand? They try to talk fast. We New Yorkers, you can't speak faster than us, partner. You can't. So we already catching up with the verbiage. So these are the type of things that are happening, family. And if you're not careful, you've been and allowed some foolishness to happen. So that was just great cause spill. Brother Ty, your thoughts on, brother Dr. Craig Carr and Sister Brooks commentary, and then we'll go to Brother Blak Smith.
Salute to Sister Brooke. Always on point. Always giving it up. Dr. Greg Carr is doing what Dr. Craig Carr do. His paradigm, his reality is based on his African-centered teaching, so that's all he know. Most people don't step outside of their circle. Most people don't open their mind to really deal with what the facts are. What I've learned studying this movement, being in the movement as a young person, I always share the story. I came in under Dr. Khalid, came into this movement, and I realized I didn't have the knowledge that he had or the people that I was around. So what I did, Sister Keisha, was I sat quiet and I listened to learn. But then I seen that even within the Pan-African ideology, there was different viewpoints, different vantage points, different perspectives. It wasn't in alignment. And we got to be honest with it. Yeah, we holler Africa, Africa, Africa. And I'm not going to make this long and I'm not going to make this a lecture. But in these teachings, everybody hailed Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. Everybody talks about Christopher Columbus. We can read Dr. Clark's book, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust. We acknowledge that there were Black people in this land prior to the Great Mayafa, right? Because that's what we call it. We don't call it the transatlantic slave trade. This is in our teachings. We don't call it a slave trade because a trade means an even exchange. There's no even exchange for kidnapping folks. So we call it the Mayafa, the great suffering, not only on the shores of the continent, but during the Middle Passage, we learn as well. And then once we get to the shores, so we dealing with slavery, we dealing with Black code laws, we dealing with Jim Crow, we dealing with civil rights, we dealing with police brutality and financial inequity, right? My question is, what happened to these Black people that was on this land prior to the Mayafa? Did they just disappear? Or was they all lumped in as one particular group and then pushed out? Because that's why I don't use the term people of color this day and age. Because back then, they knew it was more than just African people. They knew it was indigenous people, dark-skinned Africans, if you will, that were here for centuries, if not millennia, prior to the Mayafa. So they said, you know what? They created whiteness. And if you're not white, you just consider colored, then colored became synonymous with Black. That's it. What happened to the Black folks that was here prior to the Mayafa? Me and Dog always say, we owe grandma an apology. My grandmother always said, who said I was Black? Who said I was Black? Why? Because my grandmother's 80-something years old and she could remember before Black folks was Black, before we were quote unquote African American. I think we do good to listen to our ancestors. And that's something me and Sister Keisha, that's why I love my sister from another mister. We've always been in alignment with so much. And we've always encouraged our folks, even in the African-centered movements, look up your own ancestors. Find out who you are. Because it's easy to say, Dr. Clark, Ashe, Dr. Khalid, Ashe, Dr. Ben, Ashe. But what about your grandmama? What's your great-grandmama name? What was her grandmama name? So you want to venerate all these other ancestors, but you're doing your own a disservice, which shows me you don't have knowledge yourself. You just go along to get along. When you don't honor your own, I can't respect you. And that's just me. I'm cut from a different cloth, where we try to stand on integrity because we don't always get it right. We don't always get it right, and I'll be the first to admit it. However, we try to be right as much as we can. And this ain't no knock on nobody. And the part that's disheartening is because as Black Americans, we love all our non-FBA brothers and sisters. We love them all. Just because a woman was from Jamaica never stopped me from trying to holler at her or trying to build a relationship with her. I didn't tell my mother, "Oh, what's up with your new boyfriend? He Panamanian. What's that?" Nah, we don't want. We respected my stepfather, and he loved my mother till her dying day. So it ain't about hating one another, but at the same token, please don't lie on us either. Don't act like we're nothing. And this is not for our brothers and sisters. This is for anybody who got that idea. See, white folks know what they did to us. So they not giving that pushback. It's coming from folks who's coming over into our house and not respecting the architects. Because we were here. If you're going to study Ivan Van Sertima, if you're going to say, he mentioned Dr. Clark. Did he or did he not mention Dr. Clark? Did he not mention, because Arturo Schomburg was Dr. Clark's Jegna. For those who don't know, a Jegna is an African term for your teacher, your mentor. We don't use mentor because it's a Eurocentric word that's linked to the pedos. So we say Jegnas. But Arturo Schomburg was not an FBA. Arturo Schomburg was a Puerto Rican German, an African Puerto Rican German. So his last name was Schomburg. So he taught Dr. Clark the history of Africa. And that was Dr. Clark's field of expertise. Why? Because Dr. Clark's teacher told him, "Oh, you Black, you don't have no history." And many of us ran with that. We don't have a history. So as soon as we heard Africa, we jumped on board and we fell in love with it because now we finally got an identity. But as time goes on, and we start peeling back the layers, we learn more and more. And then we get introduced to the Ivan Van Sertima. We get introduced to the Dr. David Imhotep, who said the first Americans were African. And that's just because African is the catchphrase for Black. Let's just be honest. That's what it is. But what did these people say? Prior to the Mayafa, prior to coming in contact with Europeans, Black folks was already here. Why we can't beat them Black folks? Sister Marcia know her family from Haiti. Brother Blak know his family from Belize. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Because if Belize or Haiti asked for compensation for what was done to them, me and Sister Keisha know we ain't got a nickel in that quarter. But we will support them. We will support. We still support Haiti. I ain't never been to Haiti a day in my life. But still support any efforts for Haiti. But somehow, some reason, we can't get the support. We supported Amadou Diallo. We supported Abner Louima. You name them, we support them. But as soon as we say, all right, now, we got to fight our fight. All right, y'all stand down for a minute. We gonna do.
We was on the front line, Tad. The front line. They wasn't even on the front line.
I ain't seen no dashikis and head wraps out there. But you know what I'm saying? But my point is, why y'all want to get in our way? And that's the problem. Y'all get in our way. We ain't saying y'all can't get y'all's. Because, look, Haiti, the French compensated the European colonizers with Haiti, even here in America. And they called it reparations. They got compensated for losing their property, their Black folks. They got compensated. Why we can't get compensated for our labor that's owed to our ancestors? I'm gonna wrap it with this. Why? They're afraid because they think we stupid. They want to keep doing these damn studies. I could tell you, AIG owe money. Why? They the insurance company. Why? They insured the enslaved folks on this land. And we can't forget the kidnapping clubs. Sister Keisha put us on. Not everybody that was enslaved came from the continent. Some were free Black folks that were enslaved and shipped down south, like Solomon Northup and others. Slavery just wasn't for that quote unquote Africans. Free Black people were enslaved. We got to talk about the Brook Brothers, the clothing company, the people that, they used to make the burlap bags to put on us. They made slave clothing, believe it or not. Got to talk about Bank of America, who gave loans to the plantation owners to buy slaves. What we see right now, how business run right now, is how it ran back then. We all know that black folks was the first stock on the New York Stock Exchange, also known as Wall Street. Wall Street was built because free black people and indigenous, whether they call them Native Americans or whatever, were fighting the pirates that were stealing African people, bringing them over here. So they had to build a wall so they could conduct their business uninterrupted. Don't believe me? Go down to the Native American Museum down on Wall Street. They will tell you the information is there. When the last time these book reading Negroes went to museums? I've been to the African burial ground, and that wasn't the only one. Let's be clear. Like he said, that's the one they saw. All of Lower Manhattan was an African burial ground. And let's not forget, when they buried our folks, they put tekens up there. They still put tekens, which some people call obelisks. That's the Greek word. I know our story, and we're still uncovering. But me being a person who like to think that they're wise, when I get new information, I got to pivot. I've been to the motherland 4 times, not once, 4 times, doing research and study. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. But I go to Hawaii and say, yeah, I'm Hawaiian. No, I was born in Brooklyn Jewish Hospital. I'm from Brooklyn. My mother and father's first generation New Yorkers. My grandparents, the Bookmans and Cromwells, are from the South. They're from South Carolina. Well, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, is from North Carolina. Roanoke Rapids, Sister Keisha. What they say in the book, Black Indians? Where them Black Indians live? I said, oh, that's why grandma say that. Sister Keisha put me onto the book, Black Indians. So I'm saying all that to say, when I get information, real information, when I read it in the books, and then my personal answers, my grandmother's still alive. Just went to see her a couple of weeks ago down in Charleston, South Carolina, where the first Cromwell was bought on a slave ship and dropped off in the Drayton Plantation. But that's one branch of my family tree. Because again, my maternal grandmother is from this soil. My paternal grandmother is from the soil. They always acknowledge they Cherokee roots. See, people see light-skinned black folks, and the first thing they say is, you must have some white in you. You must have some white in you. But I climbed up the family tree and found one white person. Because we as black folks come in all different shades. We got to stop with these imaginary narratives that people be implanting in our minds, and then we run with it. So to Dr. Greg Carr, I get it. I get it. And I respect everybody because this is their lifelong study and research. You can't get new information and just drop it. Just like the Richard Pryor skit on Saturday Night Live when he went into the temple and he found out all them people was black. Remember that skit? And the white people closed him in there and said, bring the bulldozers. Why? Because when you got all this information, when you invested so much time, effort, energy, and money, you can't abandon what you thought was your truth. So you got to stand in that. I see it with brothers from the street. They believe street life is all they know because they came up in it. Their mama was a crackhead. Their father was a drunk. All they know is poverty and street life. And even when you show them something different, they don't know how to pivot. Because in their mind, that's not their reality. Going to jail, being on welfare, always being dramatic and fighting and arguing, that's their reality. And they say, I'm just keeping it real. I ain't changing for nobody. You give them an opportunity, they sabotage it. They steal, they rob, they get dishonest. Because they stuck in that paradigm. And that's what happened with our African-centered people. And I ain't saying something's wrong with it. I ain't saying something's right with it. I'm just stating what it is. When you get new information, you gotta update your files, or you're gonna get a syntax error. And I'm stepping down off my soapbox. I ain't mean to be so long-winded, Brother Blak.
Go ahead. Cook. Go ahead, Brother Blak.
I'm probably gonna take as long as, excuse me, I'm probably gonna take double as long as Tad did. So y'all just excuse me for one moment. Real quick, what I wanted to say is in regards to those type of meetings, knowing that Kathy Hochul's people got their reparations when the Holocaust never happened on this side of the earth. And knowing that the Japanese, after just 4 years of internment, got their reparations in 1988. It was $20,000 for survivors of it, not their progeny. I don't got time to be listening to this stuff no more. Call me when the results is up and like we ready to take action to get in this guap. That's where I'm at with it as I speak. So I'm gonna leave it there.
Nah, you just came in throwing knockout blows. Because that's real rap, Brother Blak. And when we say 1988, that's not ancient history. We were alive. That's what, 3 years after the move bombing in Philly. So when we talk reparations, we're not talking about slavery. We're talking about our treatment. That was legal. That went uncontested. Well, we contested it, but free Mamiya. Free Mamiya. Let Asada come home. All of this is remnants of our oppression. But then you get Johnny come latelys. They get $2 over lunch money and they think they made it because they come. I don't want to sound like Donald Trump, but 50 cents to buy you a house where a lot of them from. So you give them $2 over lunch money, they just happy to be here. And I get
it. But recent information has come out that lineage in the US for Black people goes back 10,000 years.
Of course.
Now, even that's debunked, Brother Tad. Now, even that's debunked. What about the Albert Perry story? Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. We're going to put it up. Let's go.
Let's go.
Albert Perry's DNA was older than the Y chromosomes found in the oldest human fossils. We're talking about a genetic line that predates every single man we thought came first. Let me repeat that. This black man's DNA was older than Homo sapiens, older than the bones found in Ethiopia, older than the 300,000-year-old remains discovered in Morocco. The moment they saw it, scientists realized something terrifying. Everything we were taught about where humans came from and when they emerged might be wrong, and not just wrong, deliberately oversimplified. Because until Albert Perry, geneticists believed all living men could trace their paternal ancestry to a single common ancestor, the so-called Y chromosome Adam, about 200,000 years ago. But Perry's Y DNA didn't match that family tree. It didn't fall on any known human branch. It was a completely different tree, a newly discovered Y chromosome lineage called a 00, which researchers estimated to be at least 338,000 years old. That number alone changed everything, because anatomically modern humans, according to fossils, didn't even exist 338,000 years ago. So how could a modern black man in America carry a genetic line older than humanity itself? That's the question that made the scientific world stop in its tracks. This wasn't a mutation. This wasn't a fluke. It was a signal. A signal that the oldest DNA on Earth wasn't sitting in a museum. It was living inside a black man in the modern world. And the best part, he didn't even know it. Albert Perry was just a man trying to trace his ancestry like millions of others. He sent in a DNA sample, and in doing so, he unknowingly unlocked the oldest unbroken male lineage ever recorded. Not in a cave, not in a fossil, but in a living, breathing African-American family. And that is just the beginning. Albert Perry's...
Can I go in on that, Sister Keisha, please?
$10 for that.
Okay. Now, I talk about this dude all the time. I'm sure y'all remember his name. I post him on my Facebook page and on my blog, often. Let me not say a lot, but often enough. His name is Remedy H. And he says that the history of this country of the world is a total lie. Because the oldest people on the earth, regardless of the history we learn, and I love Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben, so don't say I'm shaming them or, saying that they don't have it right or whatever. But what Remedy H says constantly and I can send y'all some of the videos. I'm sure I've tagged you on some of them. Is that the first people who were black emanated from a place called Flesh Pit, Texas, which used to be Mexico. We know that the recorded history says that the first people reported to have lived on Turtle Island were the Olmecs, and they lived in what is now Mexico as well. So, however far you, Doctor, let's go back to somebody Brother Tad mentioned a few minutes ago. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima said 55,000 years ago, there was no such thing as a Chinese, European, Greek, none of that. Everybody on the earth was either black or olive green, and very few of those. Okay, we know that there's ancient history. You know, if you stuck in that Bible and you want to go back only 6,000 years, you're not even in this conversation. You'll think I'm crazy, and so on and so forth. So to go back to what I'm saying is, when you start examining the history, it's all a lie, all of it. Even most of what we talk about here, because those were the first people on the earth that emanated in a place called Flesh Pit, Texas. And it's still there. I believe it's a caldera area and so on and so forth. I'm just telling you what somebody else said, and I'm quoting them on it to be recorded. So I stand on that. I'll yield to that, and whoever's going to speak, go next.
So again, I want to address something that's in the comments. Someone says, I think they addressed it to Brooke. Do you mean like fight and bleed and possibly die, like when blacks fight in a real war? I guess you mean. If it is, it's a double negative in your type, or just put up some fighting, talking words as blacks normally do. You will see. You will see, or maybe not.
Sis,
Go ahead, Brother Ted.
two things real quick, because I definitely want to address what Brother Blak said, but I definitely also want to address this person, Rob Tyler, when we talk about blacks fighting in real wars. Hopefully, you know that our freedom was not at the benevolence of white folks, but we literally fought and died and bled because we believe in what we believe in. Why is it hard for people to believe that black people are not afraid to die? We do it every day. Look at our kids right now. Chicago, LA, New York, wherever hood you may be from. People are not afraid to die. Only the people afraid to die are afraid to die. Everybody is not afraid to die. Nat Turner, Dr. Khalid, Malcolm X, Dr. King, one of the bravest freedom fighters we had, a person who stepped on the battlefield every day with no intention to fight, knowing he was going to face real killers. Anybody scared to fight and bleed? Nobody.
Not now, not ever. And you may have to watch yourself. So
right. Like people talk about fight and bleed, like that happens riding the train. But that's that. Shout out to my sister Brooke.
We're gonna dedicate World Star to Mr. Tyler.
That your nation would not be if it was not for our fighters. We saved your asses. Continuously, we still saving your asses. The reason why you have a republic today is because we make it so.
Right.
Right now, you have an influx of illegals that was codified and written into law by Caucasians. By Caucasians. Facts. Go read the legislation. Now, he also said that during slavery, a lot of black women who were slaves had whites inside of them. Yes, we know that. And I know you know that. But you also can, well, maybe you may agree or disagree that a lot of whites who forced themselves on a lot of those black women lost their nuts. Mm-hmm. This is just a fact. You can read about it. How many black women severed the penises of white men? Go ahead, Brother Tad.
No, I was because I still want to approach what Brother Blak was talking about because I think he had a powerful point. But to your point right now about blacks, one thing I tell people: please go watch Roots. Please go watch Roots. What people don't remember, everybody remember the Kunta Kinte scene. What's your name? Toby, Toby, Toby. But you know what people forgot is that one of them white men, one of them white soldiers, raped Tom's wife, and Tom deleted his ass. See, a lot of times we talk about the black migration, we don't talk about we was down there fighting because they don't want you to know that. Like Brother Blak just said, a lot of what we think we know is a lie. Case in point, what I was going to say about Brother Blak. Remember, when you learned the 5% Nation, they said we the Asiatic black man. Why? Because they thought the bones of the oldest person were found in Asia first. That's why the guards used to say the Asiatic black man. Say, yeah, the black man is the first. That we had right, but not in Asia. Right? But then we found Diknish, right? Out in Ethiopia, who they call Scientific Eve. And now we have this brother. And that's what I'm saying. When you get new information, you got to pivot. You got to pivot. You can't still be like, man, that's fake. Man, I'm the Asiatic black man. I'm from Asia. I'm Asiatic. Nah. When we get new information, we have to pivot. And that's one of the problems I've seen with the elders in the movement and in the community. They keep trying the shit that ain't been working. And I have this question. It's a rhetorical question that I challenge everybody, the viewers, the panel. What does freedom look like to you? And we really have to be honest about what does freedom look like to us. Because some of us are free. Some of us are not. But we have to identify and define what freedom looks like and move in that direction that's suitable for us. And stop regurgitating rhetoric of other people. Oh, we ain't free, we ain't free, we ain't free. How? I got a passport. I got to renew my joint at the end of the year. My passport got a lot of stamps. There ain't no way on this planet I can't go.
Facts.
So when we say I'm enslaved, I'm confined to who? By who? Slavery is a mindset. It's a thought process. Slavery is an industry that's supposed to produce a particular product. Slavery is supposed to produce slaves. And like any industry, everything don't turn out the way you want it to. All the products don't come out perfect. You're gonna have some defaults, some defects. Everybody not gonna operate in that paradigm. It's like when you get your stuff at Burlington, you might get a nice Coogee shirt at Burlington because it's imperfect. It's imperfect. We can't sell it. It ain't what we wanted. Same thing with school. School education is an industry. It's supposed to produce scholars. Now, do everybody go to school come out a scholar? No. Everyone that was enslaved, did they come out a slave? No. That's why we resisted, because the institution did not work. It did not break us. We were defective Negroes because they couldn't break us. Hopefully some of y'all are defective Negroes and y'all not subscribing to the paradigm that they're creating. Think for yourself. Stop joining this group think, because that's another thing with the Pan-African ideology. They want you to trade in your Eurocentric thinking for your Afrocentric thinking when you really need to get self-centered on what you need to do for you. Because I want y'all to show me one freedom fighter that died with some money, they're able to pay for their funeral. I'll wait. Negroes are selling soap and
tick, 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 tick.
Every time one of our master teachers pass, we selling incense, soaps, and fish fries. We got to bury such and such. I always tell people, and I'm going to pass the mic to whoever want it. If what you know don't solve your problems, then you don't know shit. And with that,
True. Hold on. Last night, when I was doing a class with Dr. Filet and them last night, I was showing them things, about this platform that we use, and so that they can start using it. And then I started letting them know about different apparatuses to help them grow as well. And so somebody said, "Can you show us how to do that?" No, ma'am. That comes with a price. And see, we have this mindset, and that's really bad. Like you said, all of our greats died broke. They children had to start from scratch. But when libations pour, you holla ashe. Knock it off.
Word.
Please don't make me pull up and embarrass folks. Knock it off. We got to stop the foolishness. Go ahead, Brother Blak.
I just wanted you to remind Mr. Tyler what your name is.
He see it.
Okay.
He see
That's
it.
all. That's all. That's it.
K fighter.
Facts. Let's go to the classic. You know,
along with Charles Ogletree and Randall Robinson and some really great lawyers. We're gonna try to fashion a strategy to sue for slavery reparations in this country. Bring a lawsuit. It's not the most popular thing everywhere, but that's not the test. The test is slavery was wrong. The government sanctioned and benefited from it. You can't have 200 or 300 years of free labor built to help build the country. When you go to Washington, you look at those monuments like the Washington Monument, built by slaves. Nobody ever got any compensation for that. You got to look at it realistically, I think. So I think these are new challenges we have to face.
Johnny will never retire.
It's a journey to justice. And now,
could you imagine if he was able to fulfill that, and at the table in the courtroom with him was Alton Maddox and Chokwe Lumumba? And that's why 3 of them ain't here now, because that was on the mind of all 3. And I can tell you this for a fact, that all 3 of them were brought down by saboteurs who look just like you in these movements. And you still want to operate in the same paradigm? Not me. No, ma'am. No, sir. Not me. Because I'm not the one. It's going to get violent. It's going to get violent. I'm not going to throw some incense and ashe at you. Your family is coming to pick your body. So I don't want to do that. So I have to move differently. And things have to change. It's been bad behavior for so long. And I've been down with a lot of groups before I even knew y'all. I didn't even see y'all. So look, that's why last night, when it was my minute to speak, because I got caught up in the minute crew, I let all of those legacy organizations, and I call them by name. All of you are compromised. You didn't hear not one rebuttal. Bring them to me. They are all compromised. So, we're going to do what we do, but you got to move on.
Yeah, real quick, though. I definitely want to say shout out to Randall Robinson, even though he transitioned a couple of years back. I read our brother Randall Robinson's book called The Reckoning with Black Oaths to Each Other. And what's so funny, he wrote about Pee Wee Kirkland in the book, how Pee Wee Kirkland had rose to his street prominence before he was into the ball, into sports, and I had the privilege of meeting Pee Wee Kirkland. I have the picture on my social media. It's me, Pee Wee Kirkland, and my OG Keon from the Purple Tape that Raekwon and Ghostface was bigging up. That's one of my OGs. He's actually from Fort Greene and moved to Atlantic Terminals, but that's my OG. So it was dope. He's just like a gangster party. And talking to Pee Wee Kirkland, because he has so much wisdom and knowledge, So we have to be authentic in who we are. Stop being ashamed of who we are. Stop letting people put identities on us and we tell people who we are. If we're African-centered, if we're Kwanzaa-based, if we're all about the Nguzo Sabah, let's not forget Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. You don't let people define you. You define yourself. And that goes for anybody. Anybody. Don't let somebody with frankincense and myrrh come up and tell you. And this ain't no knock, because I love my people. I love our history. I love our culture. But it's not this or that. It's this and that. We're a multi-layered people. We got to stop operating like we're one-dimensional. That's Eurocentric thinking. Be proud of who you are. That's why as Black Americans, we can embrace and welcome all Black people on and off the continent. Whether Haiti, Belize, Grenada, Zimbabwe, Panama, Compton, Oakland, wherever you from, you Black, we embrace you. But please, please don't let anybody force you into be them. Real quick, Sister Keisha is doing a straight Black Pride event in Flatbush. And I'm going to tell you how crazy it is. This indigenous brother, you know, she running bullshit, right? He convinced this Ethiopian sister that she wasn't African. He convinced her. She says she's indigenous to America. Though she's Ethiopian. Now, I'm not saying something right or wrong, but I'm like, yo, when people can make you deny your own identity. This woman from Africa denounced her African bloodline and her heritage. And that's in essence what people want us to do, to denounce our American. And I won't do that. Just like I thought the sister was bugging when she felt she was indigenous, because homeboy came in with the whole village people costume, you know, had the feathers in his hair and all that. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? If that's his spirit, that's him. That ain't me. You're going to catch me with a Yankee on all the time. All the time. Because I'm from New York and I reps that to the fullest, you know. But I just say that to say it's funny how you could sway people for them to deny and denounce their own identity. And that's what we have to be careful of, because it's all about mind control out here. Everybody wants you to be who they want you to be. Brothers in the mosque going to try to recruit you to join the mosque. Mama from church going to invite you to her church. Brothers with the lampshades, with the fezzes, you know, the Moors, they're going to try to convince you from Morocco or wherever this particular Moor set, because even the Moors ain't on the same page. Some from Morocco, some from here. I don't know. I ain't get that deep into that study. Hebrew Israelites want you to believe you're from the 12 tribes. Everybody's trying to recruit you. But the real strength and power is identifying and defining yourself and standing on that 10 toes down no matter where you at. Don't be nobody fool. And I'm off this.
I'm gonna pee on myself tonight. Between Tad and Marcia in the private chat, I'm gonna pee on myself tonight, and it's day damn.
Oh, now they're gonna start with you when they ain't arguing no more.
Too funny, too funny, too funny. You gotta love it. And laughter helps, you know, because if I don't laugh, I might slap stomp people. So
you know, I'm gonna give a little break. I'm gonna give a little break. Like, we forget that within all of this, we must claim joy. We must claim something to make our hearts light and happy, because if we stay in all of this, we end up having some serious mental problems. And I think that's one of the problems that we see from our elders coming out of certain movements, right? And this is why they're so locked in key to certain things. So that's what I had to say.
That's funny. I'm laughing because, you know, me and the way I think, I want some people to lose their damn mind. I want you to lose your whole entire mind. Matter of fact, as you lose it, ran to the nearest wall and ram your damn head through it, you idiot. But let's move on. Let's move on. Because we lost some greats in music this week. Elias, follow me. Come on, stop playing.
You follow me.
Come on, Ted.
To a place.
Oh, hey. Black, where you at?
You don't know that.
Where we can be free again. You're going to get a YouTube strike. You better cut it out.
Nope, we can sing it all we want.
No, we can sing it all we want. Play it. Black.
Yes.
Hey, I'm from the Bronx. We play hip hop. We don't play house music.
Black, you're too old to not know the rules. Come on.
Listen, house music started in the Bronx too with Frankie Knuckles. We gonna have this argument. It's about music, or we can.
He lying. Where my Chi-Town people at?
House music is from the word warehouse music. It ain't become the warehouse till Frankie Knuckles got there. After he from the Bronx.
Where Katasha at? He playing of Katasha.
She rather give someplace in the Midwest props over somewhere 15 miles away from you. Look at you.
And they have no houses in the Bronx in the 80s, so it couldn't have been house music. They had burnt timber.
70s. That's why they called it house. It was tenements. It wasn't no houses.
Exactly. So it can't be house music. Can't be house music, Black. But tell the Sister Farnessa.
Come on, you better stop playing. You better stop playing.
Oh, now she's saying it started with Bootsy Collins because he got the Parliament Funkadelic space shit going on. Oh, see where she going? She thinks she funny. I know she dying laughing at her keyboard right now.
I think you won it. I'm gonna call Katasha. I'm gonna get her up here. It's not gonna be nice. Jersey, you ain't playing, y'all.
Yeah, because on the East Coast, Jersey was heavy on house.
What? Still
Tony Humphries is from Brooklyn. He was the one spinning in Zanzibar. Come on, I was there. What are you talking about?
Tell your age, Black. That's right. Tell your age, brother.
Sweet chariot.
It was you.
And Tony Humphries is from East New York, Brooklyn. I used to see him on the 3 train all the time. He used to ride the train real low key.
Oh, look, what year was this, Brother Blak?
93, 94.
Word. Tell you what.
When Onyx was out and all that. Yeah.
All of a sudden, now you're gonna try to throw Onyx in there. Onyx ain't got nothing to do with house. You know, say, yeah, 93 Onyx.
You never heard Slam, the house version?
Just for you, Black. Just for you.
Damn, Black, you got hit with the womp 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 like 3 times tonight. You need to just chill out.
I'm going for the world record.
Uh-oh. Get him, Marcia. Get him. But you know, keeping it in perspective, we also lost our brother from Atlantic Star, Wayne Lewis.
Oh, wow.
From Atlantic Star. Shout out to the Bronx. I gotta give it. That's where he from. White Plains. I'm gonna give it to y'all. But you know his swag came from Brooklyn when he was hanging out in LG, right? Okay.
Hey, let me tell y'all something out here who never been to New York. People from New York act like people from other boroughs don't go to other boroughs. We all New York City. I'm five borough thorough. So you know, I ain't never claim. I claim when I'm not in New York, I claim New York. When people ask me specifically, I tell them from the Bronx. But I claim New York because I've lived in every borough other than Staten Island.
You know,
the 3 of us. I want the audience to know that the remaining 3 hosts on this platform, we don't have the same sentiment. But go ahead.
Right.
Anyway, back to our conversation from last week about the love songs and stuff like that. Atlantic Star brought the love. You know, when we were growing up, we wanted love. And unfortunately, you know, this is not what our younger people want. So just wanted to connect that dot right there because we were talking about how hearing love in the house made the house a different space. And unfortunately, our babies aren't hearing as much love as they need.
They should. You know,
I disagree with your sister, Marcia. I'm gonna tell you why.
Go ahead.
You know, after being this old, like Tad said, and analyzing the entertainment industry and writing about it intimately from experience, from third-party accounts, and all that other stuff, we were reprogrammed because. You got to remember, we went from Public Enemy to gangster rap like overnight, and they had to start it on the West Coast because New York organically don't have a gang culture like that. We used to call it crews or like my dudes or my ends. Now they saying YNs. So we were reprogrammed through time. Like if me and Tad, somebody came to us and told us that. Hold on. Let me say this quick, and then I'll let you ask a question. If 30 years ago somebody told us to say dudes is gonna be rapping like we wouldn't believe them, and that is the lick now. That's what it is now. Go ahead, ask your question.
So it wasn't we were reprogrammed. Our children have been reprogrammed, and
well, us too. I could say I was reprogrammed.
Oh, Cause okay.
I was
And what?
a teenager when NWA came. I was like
Say
15.
that again.
I was 15 when the first time I heard Easy E. I was 15. 1988. Easy Does It. Yep. First time I heard Easy E and NWA and the Posse.
That was the first song video music box played hard body from the West Coast, because I used to watch that same show Tad talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I'll
Matt,
have just a little different experience in my life, right? I'm not.
that's because you're a little older than us. And by the way, I know Ralph McDaniels. I know Ralph McDaniels personally as well.
Yeah, I never met. I never
So
met
do
the
I.
guy.
But let
So
Marcia finish her
for
thought.
you to
Move
give
on.
that kudos tells me that you're 90. I'm still 3. Thank you very much.
I don't
So
mind my
again,
black business over here.
it's just about personal experience and perceptions and stuff like that, because I did not get introduced to that type of genre until much later in life. Much later in life. I must have been like 25 when I started really listening to rap music.
Oh,
So
see, and I'm gonna say this real quick because I always share with people I was influenced because I was raised on hip hop. You got to remember, I was the product of teenage parents. You know what I'm saying? So my mother was still young and hip, and whatever was popping then, we grew up to that. So we grew up with hip hop in my house for as long as I could remember. But then when we start getting our own musical taste, we didn't have access to all this different information. And when you're young, whatever is new, it's like a new knowledge base for you. You're not up on this. And that's what it was with NWA. That coupled with all the stuff we already seen on what masculinity, let alone black masculinity, looked like. Black masculinity was always a bravado. It was always aggressive. It was strong. It was violent. And when NWA came with that, this is now in the music because we did have the Fight the Powers. We had you know what I'm saying? Like people talked about guns and stuff like that a little bit, but NWA did introduce the gang culture, which was exciting. It was like an adrenaline rush. And not only did I get the message, but dudes in Queens, Bronx, New
but
Jersey.
I think that's part of my own personal experience as being a first generation. This is not something that my parents are. This is not
Let me say this
in my house.
because and see, that's what it is. And this is no knock on you, but when we talk about foundational Black Americans, there was things going on before other groups came. So before you got here, this is what was happening.
Absolutely.
That's why you disagree with Black, and I'm agreeing with him because what he's saying is factual. Because I was there, I remember being programmed, and not only me, but people around the country. So that goes back to what Black was saying. It's not that, and it's not even our young people don't want love. It's not being shown to them. It's not shown the benefits of love. So what's happening there is a programming going on.
I don't think I'm disagreeing with Black. I'm just saying that this wasn't in my personal hemisphere.
Okay,
right? Because I could go outside.
And I addressed that by saying you much older than us. That's when I said that.
I could go outside and this is happening all around me, right? Because I lived across the street from Martin Luther King Park. Listen, things was happening outside, but in my house, and because it was happening outside, I really was like, oh yeah, I'm dancing. And then I come home and I'm listening to something else. It wasn't something always in my ear. It was something that maybe 10% of the time. But I don't disagree with the fact that, the immigrant process, right, connects us differently. And so it's cool. All of this is great because, even so I say like, children don't hear love, but I'm saying it from looking at children, not looking at myself or other peers. I'm looking at the alpha generation or the generation before them. They're not listening to those type of things. Like I have a little niece that is not hearing that, and so like Cardi B was what she grew up hearing, and now she's 7.
because of the
that's what I'm talking about. That's the
I
point.
agree. And that's what I'm saying. Because both things could be true. Because what you're saying is true. But that goes back to what Blak was saying, because Blak did say it's a programming, which is true, because they stopped playing love songs. So what are we gonna hear? We're gonna hear the debauchery. We're gonna hear the Sexy Reds. We're gonna hear the Cardi B's and the Glorrillas and the Migos. Why? Because this is what the people are making. They're becoming the tastemakers. Even though we're the trendsetters, they're the tastemakers because they control the communications. So
even Nicki Minaj was like, when you listen to it, you hear the evolution of her starting off like, oh, okay, I got this. And then
Marcia, can I say this real quick? Let me just say what I think Tad's trying to say that he maybe didn't say explicitly is that your determination of what was cool, hip, or current came at a different time. And that's why I made that comment twice. I'm not going to say it again because I don't want you to feel complex.
That I'm old,
I love that smile.
That
you
I'm
take your pick.
what I was going to say real quick too, like with Marcia saying, this was outside. Her house was different. It spoke a different language, different food, a whole different culture inside the house. For a person like me, it could be ratchetness going on outside across the street, but I know them. Ma, can I go outside? No, but such and such. It could be my older cousin. He may be active in the streets, but he's going to protect me. And then there's a generation before him. There's the uncle. This is things that was passed down. So, you know, we can identify the transition and when all of this stuff started happening, because the community at one point was the village and white people knew they had to destabilize it. So what did they do? They removed the love and injected the conflict. Everything has to be conflicts too. So even when you fast forward today, our mode of communication is the internet. But when you turn on the internet, what is it? Black men and black women fighting now. And now, like, we never got along before.
Or even the black people that you thought were like promoting black love, they're over there throwing jabs at each other. I ain't never loved you. You never. You're like,
and that's just wounded, hurt people, because what has been done to us consciously and unconsciously. And that's why on this platform, as we talk about being foundational Black Americans, people are now in our house and don't understand why the curtains may be lopsided or shattered. They might not know why the doorknob is broken, you know, and we can explain like, yo, things has happened here before you walked in. We're in the process of trying to fix it, but we don't need outside critiques when we trying to rebuild our home. Because with reparations, we're not talking about just the financial aspect of it. That's a start. But we're talking about a reclamation of our own identity of who we are as a people, not accepting other people's idea of who they think we are, because this was the same thing in the Jim Crow era. Most people don't know Jumpin' Jim Crow was a fictitious cartoon character. And with that cartoon character, all these other non-black people got on one accord and said, yeah, that's how black people act. Let's create laws to keep them down based on a fake character called Jumpin' Jim Crow. So that's why it's called the Jim Crow laws. Legitimate laws that went through legislation, we're all in Congress, that we're going to keep these people down. We're not going to lift these people up. We're not going to help these people. All of that. Because when you talk about migration, this country, as they like to say, was founded by migrants. And the USA, as we know it today, yes, it was. But then you got to close the border at some point in time. You know what I mean? And what it is respect the architects, respect the ones that built this house. And all we saying is, yo, we ain't really got no beef with outsiders. It's like outsiders coming in our house trying to beef with us when all we trying to do is get our house in order. So when we talk about Atlantic Star, one of my favorite groups, you know, they song Always. I love that song to death. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about that, we're talking about a legacy of love, because when we talk FBA, we're not just talking lineage. Lineage is something we could prove, but we're also talking about our legacy, what we had left behind us, what was left behind for us, the instructions we got from our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, because some of us are fortunate enough to have known our great-grandparents and remember the lessons they taught us. And we're in those times that they tried to prepare us for, where people are going to come in your house and not be nice. Watch the company you keep. Watch who you associate yourself with. And that's why, as foundational Black Americans, we got to fight who we thought were friends and allies and realize all we have is each other. And we cool with that. Because Grandma Ben told me this. And great grandma Ben told me that. So my point, and I'm gonna pass the mic, is we're preserving our legacy. And we don't knock anybody for preserving their legacy. White power for white people. If I was white, I might holler white power too. I would want my children to be white if I was a white person. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If a Haitian woman want to have a Haitian husband, there's nothing wrong with that. But for some reason, whenever Black Americans want to do something, they still treat us like we're enslaved. And all of us literally didn't come here as slaves. So even in our spirit, we can't subscribe to the slave mentality or the slave behavior because it's not in our DNA. For other folks, it might be. For a lot of us, we're just natural born freedom fighters. And I'm off that.
From what you just said, Brother Tad, I want to just say one thing real quick. It reminds me of the controversy going on in the state called Nebraska, where they say that the whites, when the migrants started leaving those rural places that's easy to raid because there's only 3,000-4,000 people in them towns, that the whites thought the blacks was going to come and work on their plantations. Ain't no Black person better work on no plantation unless you in the street and they got a shed for you where you got to at least park your head and have your 40 ounce every night. Ain't no Black people going back to no plantations. That it would just be disrespectful to the people just to even say you work on a plantation or anything that's a farm that you and your people don't own. I'm off.
Black, you might find some folks that'll do it. You'll be
All right.
surprised. Like I
Right.
said, some people got slave
Especially
mentalities.
people with them hard wigs. But anyway, that's another story for another time, you know. You
Ooh.
also got to remember the death of Sly from Sly and the Family Stone, who also transitioned, another great in the music game. And also our sister Ananda Lewis, who was one of the original VJs on MTV, also transitioned yesterday from
It's a family affair.
Breast cancer. So, yes, Sister Farnessa, rat nest wigs. That's right, Tish James. But anyway, you know, I like to play around with things. So, you know, I asked ChatGPT a question. Okay. Earlier today, right, Brother Tad?
She did.
I asked ChatGPT a question.
What's the question?
Hold on, get to it right now. I just want to try to share it while I can. So I asked ChatGPT, you know, if you know they were God, so say, you know, your creator, whatever way I want to call him. I said, if you were God and came down from heaven, which race of people would you want to be around and where and why? So this is what ChatGPT spit back out to me. You scroll up. He says, if I were God, a reflection on presence and purpose. He says, if I were God, a being of infinite wisdom, justice, and love, I would not choose to be among people based on race as defined by human constructs. However, I would be drawn to a people whose stories reflect resilience, creativity, endurance, and an unshakable spirit. Foundational Black Americans would be a profound choice. Why? Historical endurance, chattel slavery, surviving chattel slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, COINTELPRO, mass incarceration, and more, and still pushing forward. Cultural influence. Despite being a small percentage of the U.S. population, foundational Black Americans have transformed global music, language, fashion, sports, and social justice movement. Moral clarity. From Harriet Tubman to Malcolm X, Fannie Lou Hamer to Fred Hampton. Truth tellers and freedom fighters who held America accountable to its own ideals. Spiritual fire, the Black church, gospel music and liberation, theology are powerful expressions of faith under fire. So, if God came to walk in flesh and choose to be among people who represent both suffering and glory, truth and transformation, it would make deep spiritual and symbolic sense to dwell among foundational Black Americans. Their story is not just one of pain, but prophecy. Their culture is not just entertainment, but testimony. Their presence is not just historical, but divine. So,
Give it up for chat. Give it up for chat GPT.
The chat be popping.
The chat is chatting. But speaking of chat GPT, yeah, Sister Farnessa, I sent that to Brother Tad and Sister Katasha, Brother EJ early this morning. But anyway, I want y'all to also try checking out Chat Blak GPT. The sister Erin who developed it. I had the pleasure of meeting her at the Heritage House here in Brownsville. When she laid out her plan for Chat Blak GPT, she used to work in tech. Actually, she worked for Chat GPT. She was the one challenging its platform on historical content. And actually, she and I had a question and answer period where she pulled information of which I was sharing for that platform. So please, my Black brothers and sisters out there around the globe, if you're going to use it, try Chat Blak GPT. Okay? All right. Got you in it. Now, again, going back to Black music and the great ones that we lost this week, I happened to come across an interview with actor Leon Isaac Kennedy. He gave a wonderful explanation as to what you're seeing happening with Smokey Robinson now with these SA allegations. And he said, I've known Smokey very closely for over 60 years. He is a pastor now, for those who don't know, but Kennedy, that is. And anyway, he was talking about the meekness of Smokey Robinson and how all of these allegations are coming out of nowhere. It don't matter if you're young in the industry now, you could be old, dusty like Smokey, can't even hardly move. But, this is what's happening. What's happening and what you're seeing before your eyes is the destruction of Black manhood. This is what they're doing. And I have to agree somewhat with Mr. Tyler. They know where the bravado lies. They know where manhood lies. They know where womanhood lies. Their job, since they've come in contact with us, is to destroy that apparatus, that straight Black pride family structure. And if you don't put the fear of the devil in the devil, you're playing games. You're playing games. And this is just Black malehood around the world being compromised. Because as ChatGPT said, our moral compass will not let us off all of you at one shot, which we should. We should have been off y'all, all of you, one shot. And we are definitely capable of doing that. That's why you don't see these, alleged race baiting groups protesting our neighborhoods. They know better. I encourage all KKK skinheads, Patriot Front, whoever you are, Brownsville, Brooklyn would like to host you. Bring your ass. But and you see it on social media, when white folks disrespect Black folks, they have a hands-off approach a lot of times. There's a hands-off approach or giving a semblance of reluctance. But as of late, you are seeing people getting knocked the hell out, left, right, and center, because Black manhood is on the line. So subconsciously, because I just watched a video from a brother who laid this fool out. Subconsciously, subconsciously, there is an awakening happening. There is an awakening happening. People are sick and tired. And I'm seeing comments on some of these YouTube bloggers who interview a lot of these, what do you call them? Transsexuals or whatever the hell they want to call themselves. But straight Black women are putting in the comments, we've had enough of y'all cosplaying who we are, living vicariously through who we are. So there is an awakening. There is a renaissance happening. And people with old ideologies and belief, you are holding it back. You are holding it back. Get out the goddamn way. You had your turn. Get out the way. Or you're going to get mowed over like Craig Carr and Dr. Rinbush last night. Because we ain't playing. But I had to show this before we leave. We'll come right back after this to give our final thoughts and be out of here.
You come to the wrong nigga, man. Ain't nobody touching you. Get the fuck out my face.
I don't touch you, bitch. I ain't touch you, drunk
Yeah.
ass bitch.
You the bitch.
You drunk ass bitch.
You the bitch.
Go get your
You
nigga,
the
cause I'll
bitch.
slap you
You
in
the
here.
bitch.
You in
the
here trying to
bitch.
harass him,
You the
bitch.
bitch.
You in here?
You the bitch.
I'll slap this bitch. I'll slap this bitch. Yeah, get your bitch or I'll slap her.
You the
I'm trying to help her.
bitch.
I'll kill you, nigga. Nigga, I'm just trying to. What the fuck wrong? I'll slap
Yeah,
you.
you not doing shit.
What the fuck wrong with y'all? What the fuck wrong with y'all? I'll slap the fuck out both y'all. All right, enough. Woo! Fuck wrong with you, bitch ass nigga. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you, dumb ass nigga.
Hold on, she's supposed to.
That ain't all of it. That ain't all of it. I've seen it already. That ain't all of it.
I'll go back. Just for y'all. I'll go back. The Fist of Ogun.
Stop, girl. Stop.
There it is. There it
He
is.
was taking that.
You come to the wrong nigga, man.
He laid both of them out. Enough.
There was another version of it. It's longer than that. Oh, it gets super gangster. Tad would have been proud.
Nah, I seen it.
We coming to the end of our show, though. I know. But I know people think I have infinite energy. No, I have to go to bed. I have a very, very full day every day. I never, ever have idle time. Most Black women who are about this never have idle time. Never. Am I right, Sister Marcia? We don't got idle time.
Absolutely. I need to go sleep now.
We don't have idle time at all. So sometimes, when some of y'all reach out to me, yeah, I'm busy. I am busy while you sit home watching TV. But anyway, we've come to the end of our program, family. We're going to get our final thoughts and commentary and get y'all up out of here. Brother Blak Smith.
Yes, ma'am. I heard the call. I'm calling back. Most things right now are distractions. I talk about them every week. So, what I'm about to say is repetitive, but, all the trials, even the LA riots to a degree is manufactured. They need distractions in order to do a lot of behind the scenes things like the QFS, which means the quantum financial system, which is being implemented as we speak. I've told y'all previously that the Federal Reserve has been merged with the United States Treasury. So in the meantime, I saw a video maybe a few minutes right before I came on the show today by Nino Brown that said that almost 500,000 people in this country have committed suicide just since January. So that would be the first till the present moment. And that's way too many people. I'm sure a lot of us are in that number because of the stress. You got that earlier today. I don't even know why I did it, but I guess it was for myself and for the collective. I listened to Hold On, Be Strong, which is the first song. It's not even a song. It's like an interlude to introduce the album of the Aquemini album by Outkast. So I listened to that. I'm inspired. Everything, like Sister Keisha just said a minute ago, we fighting back. You know what I'm saying? You might not see it all. You might not see it all the time, but we fighting back. And in fact, let me not even say we fighting back. We've always fought. But, you know, there's a saying, African proverb that goes, until the lions get the guns, you know, the hunters will always ride the story. So when you see a lion or a deer or whatever wild animal on a mantle, know that they get it in too. Sometimes they win as well. You know, we always say the rabbit got the gun. So with that said, we didn't speak too much about music tonight, but I got my book and I can't find it at the moment. Is it right here? Oh yeah, here it is. Got my book that exposed most of what's going on in this day and age. I don't believe at the time that it was a distraction because it was low key and understated. But like Zygmunt Zabriskie said, he said, y'all messed up. And I wanted to say another word, but I will refrain from doing that at the moment when y'all gave these niggas the internet. So, you know, just keep getting on your grizzly grind to find out that information that's going to get you to the next step. And I see you in the fifth dimension. Power to the people. Sister Mama.
Marcia, please. So I know that Sister Keisha likes to close out with Brother Ashe's Kupetet Bulekai, but it's also a calling for liberté or la mort. We fight for freedom or we die. Let us all be on our quest for freedom, whether it's personal or communal. There is a calling for freedom. And, you know, knock them down if you can and find strategies to knock them down in other ways. And my musical edition for this Black Music History Month is in the gospel realm, Blessed Assurance, because be assured that our ancestors are backing us and have full validity that we can succeed if we become more communal in our quest for freedom. With that said, may time flourish, and if it may not, fight with that sucker. Be the Ogun with time and make it will your way, Brother Tad.
All right. Family, we just want to thank y'all for rocking out with us. Again, it's still June. It's Black Music Month as well as Men's Health Month. Hopefully you hug the black man that you love today. If not, go hug one. Hopefully, let me see. Don't forget Sunday, 2 p.m. OG Wisdom. Me and my brother C Gutter had to put that in there. Catch us every Sunday, 2 p.m. on YouTube. So hopefully you were inspired by something you heard here tonight. Your turn to God and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, family. Thank you all for rocking out with us each and every week right here on the Brooklyn Bridge. Tell somebody to tell somebody. It goes down every Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. And for my brothers, have a wonderful, wonderful Father's Day. Remember your fathers. For those who fathers have transitioned, hold a little spot for him. Some of us sit in a particular class who have lost our mothers and our fathers. So our strength is phenomenal, and that's why we are unshakable. So remember them, honor them. The way you honor them is how you live your life. So if I was to leave this planet today and run into Dennis Hopkins with his arms open wide for me, I guarantee you he would say, "You have made me proud, daughter." With that said, y'all have a great rest of the week. We are out. Good night, y'all.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Pharaoh Blak talk in the air. Changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat. Brother Blak Smith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves.